Hello again, my mate Vince back again with the cheapest Rolls Royce in the UK. And in this episode we're going to be continuing on from the last episode where I fixed the door mirrors. This time I want to have a look at why the seats are not working. So they do some movements, but not all movements. So I'm on the ignition now, and we have this little two little things that look like seats here. So for example, now if I move that one there, that's not doing anything properly anyway, it's not moving fully. When I move this one here, it's little bit jerky, but some of them are not. So look, for example, now this one here puts the seat up, but then when I want to put it back down, it's not going. So it goes up, but not back down. Occasionally it will kick in. When it comes to these ones over here on that side, look, the main one, which is the moving forward and back, is not doing it. It's making clicking noises, but yet there's no movement. And yeah, that's not doing anything either. So there's various things that are not working properly on there. Maybe some of the problems might be here, but they do all appear to be clicking, even though some of them can be a little bit sticky. I think the problem is more to do with in here with the motors and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm going to give everything a bit of a clean up, because you can see there's just grime everywhere, just to make it a little bit nicer to work on. I'm going to get some wet wipes. I'm just going to spend half an hour or so cleaning both of them, and then I need to work out, I suppose we'll just start one at a time, find out which one's not working, and then take it from there. Just see if we can maybe free up the motors. Maybe it's through lack of use or something. Maybe it needs a bit of grease, or maybe we're going to find broken parts. I'm not sure, but to begin with, let's give them both a nice good clean. Okay, so I've given the driver's seat area a nice good clean now, so it's much nicer to work on than it was before. I'm not worried about the passenger seat yet. Let's just concentrate on this one, because I think we've got quite a lot to do. That might be in a different video. So if you have a look here now, I'm going to be concentrating on these ones here. Now if I go up, right, so you can see now this is moving up when I do this one here. Let's try to get it like that. Now look, when I go down, it's not doing anything, yeah? So it goes up, but it doesn't go down. Ah, it went down there. I was about to say that if you just tap it, then it goes, you see? But when I go fully, it stops. So that says to me, let's do it now. Okay, well, it's freed itself up. I think I'm going to put IPA all round here and then see what's working, because we have all the switches underneath this side here going down in here. So I think once we flood it with IPA and give it a real good clean around, that will clean out a lot of the switches. I think quite a lot of them are just making bad contacts. We can also spray in the old contact cleaner over there as well. So let's do that, and then let's see what's working and not working afterwards. I've been waiting for an excuse to use this, the old isopropyl alcohol. So you can pour this into electronics and stuff, and it will just evaporate off without causing any damage. So hopefully if somebody had previously dropped something down in there, like tea or coffee or drug juice, then this will clean it all up. I'm going to do both switches while I'm here. I've done the kill switch in the boot again, so the battery is disconnected. See, that switch is staying up here. I want everything just to be freed up so it can work properly. And I'm just going to get a wet wipe and clean it all up. While I'm here, I'm just going to flood the other switches. We have a load of memory switches here for the seats. Right, so I've given it a nice good clean up here now. It looks much better, but it still needs a lot of work. Let's spray cleaner all up inside here. Right, let me work that around. Right, the stickiness has definitely gone from that now. So let's put the battery back on in the boot and see if it's going to make any difference. Right, ignition on. Now, seat forward. Yeah, seat back. No, still hesitant, you see. Look at that. Strange, isn't it? Okay, so got to find out why it's doing that, but at least it's moving. Let's do up here. Yeah, and down. Yeah, again, a little bit hesitant. That way. Okay, but at least they're working on full travel now. Yeah, I'm not sure what this hesitancy is. Is it reaching a strain level and then it thinks it's at its level, so it cuts out? Right, okay, so that's that one. What about this one? No, okay, but that cable looks broken. I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah, it is moving. I mean, I've got the engine off and my battery is weak, so maybe it won't be hesitant when the actual alternator's kicking over and you're getting 14 volts rather than probably slightly less than 12. Okay, so the only thing that I think is actually broken on it is this thing in here in the corner. So if you have a look, when I do the seat back here, so the seat back is this one here, that one. Look at this cable here. Can you see it's all loose here? Yeah? Look at that, that doesn't look right, does it? That looks like it's snapped off there. If it's snapped, there's probably not much I can do about it. There is another one this side here though. But I think because this thing's not working properly, it's causing resistance there. Right, what I'm going to do before I do any work on that, I think I'm going to get the white lithium grease and I'm just going to spray up all the pivot points. So you know when it starts pivoting up from here, I'm going to spray up all these areas. Hopefully then that will make it up a little bit freer. So while we're greasing this up, we'll give a shout out to you know who, and that is of course the MMV Massive. This month the members are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Having Fun Repairs, Ellensburg Amplifier Repair and Service, Will Michaelis, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeves.com, King Kurd from Lowbrook Auto Sales, DJVG, Stuart Park, Ellis Garbett, Pigsy, Kenneth Blenstrop Sorensen, Simba Tinabu, Gabe McCandless, and Extreme 401. I've just noticed there's like holes in here, and I can see a massive toothed gear just here. You see in here? So now when I do this here, see turning? Do you know, I think I'm going to start the engine just for a minute, just to see if it makes it easier. Nah, see my battery's completely flat. Yeah, can't even start. Right, okay, I suppose all this work here has drained it. So that's a bit annoying. I think that's why it's hesitant. So I don't think I'm going to worry too much about that. I think I'm just going to worry about... Yeah, it's really weak now. My interior lights are flicking on and off. Look. Look at it against my hand. See? Yeah, okay. Not really going to be much more I can do about this one today. I have to charge up the battery. I just want to have a look and see what's going on maybe with this thing here. See why it's broken. It looks like it's just snapped. So initially when I was looking at it, I thought maybe it's supposed to kind of go like this and be glued into place, but it's not. Look, it needs to go right the way up here like that. So I think once that's up here, like so, it might well start working again. So that's the internal cable that spins, a bit like a brake cable on a bike, except instead of just pulling, this is actually spinning. So I suppose if you could imagine a speedo cable. There we go. So I'm going to have to do something with that there, try to glue it in place maybe, put a load of epoxy around it, maybe try to cable tie it in. But I reckon we might be able to get that working. So there's not really much more I can do now. I'm going to have to take the battery out of this car and then charge it up in the shed overnight. And then hopefully if the battery is full, then I might be able to fix all this up tomorrow. And then what I'll do is when all the grease has worked its way into the proper places, you see when it comes to stuff like here, I can clean it off. Because obviously we don't need it splattered on top of there. So I'll pick this up again tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day now, and the battery has been charging overnight, so I should have plenty of juice in it. Now, to start with, what I'm going to do is I've taken that one out there, so you can see that it's just hanging loose there, like the brake cable that I mentioned before. And I'm going to clean up all around here. I've already given it an initial clean, but I'm going to clean up all the plastic just around here. And then I need to glue it up into here, this connection up here. And then I think I need to, I suppose while it's going off, I'm going to super glue it to begin with. And I think I'm going to wrap cable ties around it to try to get it really pushed up against it, because there's going to be quite a lot of force on them. And then maybe I'll put epoxy everywhere to really try to remold it. Now, as well as that, have a look over this side here. I can see that there's a wire loose. If you have a look, that little orange wire, yeah? Can you see there? It's just loose, isn't it? That one there. But yet on this one here, it looks like it's completely snapped off. So I've got the same orange wire here. I don't know what these are for. Would they be for kind of end of travel micro switches or something? But it looks like it's left it looks like there should be a spade terminal coming out of that, or a female spade, and I think that's left itself in the bottom of that one there. So we're going to have to try to prise that out and then try to get a new connection onto it. So yeah, a little bit of work to do. So to begin with, I think I'm going to try to glue that one up there and see how that goes. Then we'll worry about that little terminal there after that. Okay, I'm now sat in the rear of the car, and I've just cable tied up this bit here, and I super glued it initially, but I don't even know if the super glue held whatsoever. So I've got a load of cable ties just wrapped around it. Well, not a load, I've got 3 of them in strategic positions to get this to stay in place. Now, if when I do this side here with this weird orange wire, if it starts working, then what I will do is I will epoxy all around the bottom area there, and it will kind of hopefully keep the cable ties in place and also the mechanism as well. I'm not sure how much movement's needed on that. You know, when the seats start moving around the place, I don't know if these are designed to kind of move a little bit, not too sure. But anyway, I really can't get to the bottom of this one because there's just not enough room under there. It would help if I had a mirror, but I haven't got one to hand. So I'm going to undo this nut and bolt through the top here, and there's also a little one further down as well. I'm hoping then this whole thing might just pull down to one side, and that will allow me then to actually work on that little connection. Actually, I've just noticed on the back of the seat here, look, pretty much all of these are broken. So there's no real springiness to the back of the seats. So if you look at that one, you see they're mainly intact, but this one has all been pushed through. So yeah, I don't know. Don't really think there's going to be much I can do about that, because it looks like it comes along, wraps around, goes along here, wraps around and continues on, and they've just all rusted along this area here. I suppose what I could do is I could put new ones, couldn't I, from here to here. That might give it a bit of strength. You know, new wire from here wrapped around here, and then just tied off in the middle there. I think that would be safe if you kept it short, twist it together and pointed downwards. Then yeah. Thing is, the seat feels nice and comfy, but I suppose you're just relying on the foam and the leather rather than these things at the back here. Maybe you have to undo the 2 screws this side here. I hope this doesn't take the cover off. I don't want all the gears to fall out. No, it's still not coming out. Oh, it looks like we've got a big screw going through there. Right, I'm going to go around to the front and undo that big screw here. Hopefully then that might come apart. Here we go. Ah, wow, look at that. A massive wheel. Right, okay. Apologies, I think my camera fell over. Anyway, look, we've got a huge wheel here now. But I'm not really too interested in that. I'm more interested in this little connection. So there we go, that's the connection that I'm interested in. So I can see what's going on now, so I should be able to prise that out. Let me see if I can get my camera on a tripod. Right, so this is a little terminal here. Let's see if we can squeeze it out. Yes, got it. Right, so now I can crimp a new one onto that, and then, I mean, I don't know what it does. Right, let me get my spade terminal set. Right, so I've got my little kit here, and the small red one looks to be the correct size compared to the old one. So let's strip this little one back. Black one's just bolted onto here, so that's all good. Still feels nice and tight. I've got the boot disconnected at the moment, the battery in the boot. Right, so I can see the wire's gone right the way through. Well, hopefully that's made the connection. So now let's see if that wants to go back into here. Yes, it does. Okay, that goes all the way in, but also I can pull it out by a fair bit, but that's not the actual spade terminal loose. That's the inside bit loose, so I don't know whether it should be in or out. I'll leave it in like that and see if it works. I can always pull it out a bit. Right, let's try to get this back on. Now that must go this way for the cutout for this thing up here. There we go. Right, let's screw that all back into place. Okay, so that's all screwed back together now, and that's just cable tied up. Let's put the key in the ignition and see if we now have movement on these ones here. Alright, okay, now let's get ourselves set up. So we're on this one here. So now let's swap hands. I'm interested in this back one. Right, here goes. Oh, it wants to go. Yeah, it looks like we have movement on the wires here. I can see them kind of wiggling. And I have movement here. I wonder, does it just need like freeing up? Do you know what I mean? I think I am going to get the camera on a tripod and try to use two hands on this. It seems to me as if it wants to turn because I can see all these cables wiggling. So it says to me I think the mechanism's seized. Let's see if we can free that up. Right, so now I can use one hand on the seat. Here we go. Slowly moving forward. Now let's go backwards. No. Let's do the other side. So when I go forward, I suppose it hasn't moved in years, you see. We're getting there. Hope I don't burn the motor out. I don't even know if you can see any of this. Right. Do you know what? I think I'm going to start the engine up because I'm worried about the weakness of the battery. Good news is it's starting to move on its own now. Still very hesitant and slow, but it's definitely moving. Right, okay, so basically I've got it moving forward, but it doesn't move back. So if I go forward, sorry, just took the ignition keys out. If I go forward, it is now moving. It's very hesitant, but it is moving forward. When I go back, it's not doing it. So I would say it's more a mechanical issue. I don't think it's a motor issue. I wonder if we were to take off these things again, and actually see whether the mechanism itself is moving, because these are definitely twitching when I you see this kind of white wheel here. Have a look in here, yeah? If I do this, can you see? So it moves that way, but when I go to do the other way, it's not moving. Right, I think I'm going to take these off on both sides and then see if I can actually get the mechanism moving, because it could be that the motor's weak, or it could be that the mechanism itself is all jammed up. Okay, so I've just taken off that side there because that side's all cable tied up, and I've tried to move just by hand these gears here. Well, sorry, not the outer ones, the ones that these are attached to. You can see it's like a planetary type gear system going on down here. And as far as I can see, this is well and truly lodged. I can't move that at all. Now maybe I wouldn't have the strength to move that anyway. So I'm just going to put the keys in the ignition. I want to see when I go forward and back whether this is moving freely. I also want to see whether the seat is moving the same speed as it was before. If it was, it suggests to me that this side here is completely jammed up. Now then I think what I will do is I think I will then put this seat back upright again, and I think I'll take this side off to see then if I can turn this one by hand, because this appears to be working quite well, very well to be fair. And if I can move that by hand 100%, I know now that that mechanism is seized. If I can't move this by hand, I know then that I just haven't got the power to move it, because when you start to gear things up and down, it's amazing the amount of torque that you can get from just a normal 12-volt motor. Right, let's see what's happening. Okay, and even now it's been about 4 minutes later. That motor is still red hot compared to the others. So obviously I don't want to do it too much because I'll end up burning the motor out. Let's now see if I do this one and do this one here. In fact, let's do this one back up to where it should be. Oh, I've got the battery thing again in the boot. Right, let's put the other one back up, because I'm going to need access to that. Shouldn't be doing it in stages like that either. Right, okay, now let's see what's happening here. There, yeah, you can see that that's spinning quite nicely in both directions. In fact, it's moving much better now when that's off, because it allows, but this side's not moving. You can see that that side's not moving, it's twisting. Yeah, right, so 100% that side here is blocked, and now that the motor's allowed to turn, it's actually working much better. Right, we need to try to find out. I don't even need to take that one apart. I know that this side here is seized, so because that's spinning nicely down there with the in there. Right, okay, let's try to free it up. Right, what I'm going to do is spray some white lithium grease in around in here, and I'm going to keep working the I'm just going to keep trying to wiggle the seat forward and back while working that little gear around. Well, already is turning a bit. Oh, hold on a minute. Some of these feel a little bit hard to move around. These should be free, shouldn't they? Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean up these. I think there's also a problem with these gears here, because some of them move very nicely. Right, look at that one there, that's almost rock solid. And then the one next to it, well, this one here, look at that one moves nice. So I think that there could be a problem with these as well. I'm going to give this a real good wipe down and a clean up. Yeah, maybe that was the problem, the gears here. Right, so at the moment, these are really so stiff to move. That's nice. But the rest of them, especially that one there, I'm going to put WD-40 all in around it. Oh, now we're getting there. Look at that already. Do you know what? I think that's what the problem was. The grease had just gone very hard. So in this bit here, I'm going to use WD-40 to loosen it all up. I'm also using a little bradawl that I found in the engine compartment just to clean all the rock hard grease away from it. Then when I get it moving, I can use some lithium grease on it. I can pack it with normal grease as well. and then hopefully then there won't be strain on the motor, because these are not moving around properly, so that's causing massive strain on the motor. So while I'm doing this, let's kick back and listen to some music. Okay, check this out now. I haven't put any lithium grease on it yet, but look at that. I've convinced myself now that that is the problem. Just too much friction on here. So it couldn't turn because these were jammed. That's what I think anyway. Right, let's give it a coating off this. And then this is white lithium grease. And then I'm going to bung oil, grease all the way around this and in here as well in the mechanism. Right, so I'm going to put a load of grease in here now. Should be plenty. Right, there's plenty of grease everywhere. I'm going to put this all back together and then we'll start filming again and we'll see if it works. Okay, what do you reckon? Do you reckon it's going to work? Yes or no? I think yes. Right, we're on now. Come on now. Get myself comfortable. Let's reach over. And let's see now, are you going to do it? Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Look at that. And the other way. Oh, my. That's going at a fair old pace as well. Result. Well, I think it sounds as good, if not better, than the others. Is it going to go to the extremes? There you go. When I really want to kick back when I'm driving. There we have it. Well, that's down a good amount there, isn't it? Check it out. It's got a good bit of speed as well. Fantastic. Let's go right the way forward. Wow. Okay, well, I really didn't think that would be the case. So just the grease had gone hard after all those years. That's working really nice now. Excellent. Well, I think this seat is done, so let's have a look. So we've got backwards, forwards, we've got up like that, and down like that, and then we've got down there and up there, and then we've got both up and down, and then we've got the seat at the back. That's all, that's everything. Right, fantastic. Okay, I'm really happy with that there. So I think I'm going to call it a day on that video. I'm not sure now on my next video whether I should move on to that chair over there, or I might fancy a change, I don't know. But this seat here is moving in all directions. Now, is it going to be as smooth and stuff as when it was new? No, of course not. But realistically, how often is the chair going to be getting moved around the place? Not that much. And I think through more use, I think then it will start to, everything will start to free themselves up a bit more. If it doesn't, when I get other jobs done, I can always come back to this. So for example, maybe it's a bit hesitant on the moving forward and backwards because maybe the same things happen with the grease in one of the other little gearboxes that is all seized up. Maybe now the reason that seat over there is not moving forward and back might not be motor related or linkage related. It might be that the gearbox is full of rock hard grease. So yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with how that's turned out. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't yet already. Obviously there's going to be loads of videos on this car here. I'm just working my way through the jobs bit by bit. So if you like this kind of thing, think about subscribing and think about giving it a nice big thumbs up. Take care everyone. Thanks for watching.